One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Man, we all made it to freaking Thirsty Thursday, man. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the hell you guys are from. Much love, honor, and respect to you all. We got also, by the way, we got Motobomb that's just raiding us, man. I really can't thank you enough for the raid and sending your people, your amazing people over here, man. So mega W's over to Motobomb as well, man. And family too, man. Thank you all for tuning in. We just starting up. So we got a big one, a big lineup today. We got Israel approves settlement that could divide the West Bank. Now this is the title, not everything that we're going to be covering today. I'll be giving you guys the list. And then as well as Air Canada strike ends and more. So what we're going to be starting off today with is actually an Epstein, regarding the Epstein grand jury materials. The federal judge, of course, we saw this coming, denies again release of Epstein grand jury materials. Then we're going to be going into Air Canada strikes. Airline reaches tentative flight attendant meeting or agreement. Then FBI most wanted, FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives. Mother of missing Texas boy. We have a story on that. We have an update on that, I guess. Then we're going to be going into the West Bank over there, talking about Israel. Then the Menendez brothers set to make their case in parole hearing, as well as there's, I guess, a video. Woman tries to kick Southwest employee, punches computer monitors. The fucking world's just going crazy. And then, of course, last but not least, we're going to be ending with Hurricane Aaron and the forces, I guess, strong winds and 20-foot waves along the East Coast. So it is definitely feeling the heat over there. Before we get into all the madness, man, make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But this is where we start talking a little bit of money. A little bit, poquito. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we get to support ourselves, 100% funded by you guys in the Breakfast Club. If we had to rely on advertisement, we wouldn't be doing shit, honestly. So it's up to you guys, and I really appreciate you guys becoming members and then staying members. You know what I mean? For real. And a little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, by the way, so make sure you guys hit that up. We also have a Discord link for all of us that we all hang out in there. We all, you know, hang out, discuss the topics, and or just hang out with all of us, man. It's a great time. Make sure you guys join in the Discord link down below of, you know, I guess it's the description box, but it's down there for every single video. So make sure you guys join up. Last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube brutal 30% cut to take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling for the remainder of the show. And of course, I will read out your message right away. I've got the email up, so if anything comes through, I will be shouting you out right away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great to see everybody. Oh, we've got Naomi that dropped in the Discord. I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you for that. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far, and everyone else as well. We got Tolga up in the beauty as well. Great to see you. We got Steve Easy, my man. We got Wildcard as well as Charles Darwin down there from Down Under. Great to see you. We got Hook Dog, my man. Great to see you over there from Cali. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you as well. We got Biker Babe. Good morning to everybody. So Loud, brother So Loud over there from the boondocks of North Carolina. Shout out to my man right there. Great to see you. We got brother Lappy in here too. I did see him. Where is he? There he is. There's Lappy. We got brother SNS up in here as well. And let's see, we got brother Joseph up there in Canada. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, Bob, and definitely can't forget the haters. Stop the cat.
Stop the cat.
I gotta read it every time, bro. Great to see you, bro. We got Steve Posey up in here as well as Gunpowder Nitro. Good morning, good morning. We got Prez, my man. Always thank you guys for hanging out with us. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the morning here. We got a radical little lineup. We're going to go ahead and start off with Epstein. This is something that I don't think was going to be, at least to me, it's not surprising because we all knew that as soon as, DOJ is being focused on all these judges just go, nope, we're not doing it. So here we go. Interesting.
I want to talk just briefly about the Jeffrey Epstein case. There was somewhat of a development here. We have talked about this story with you numerous times. So this is what we know today, Nima. A federal judge who presided over the sex trafficking case against Epstein, joining two other judges in rejecting the government's request to unseal grand jury transcripts related to the decades-long sexual abuse suffered by girls and young women who fell into his orbit. So this ruling today by Judge Richard Berman in Manhattan, it came after the judge presiding over the case against Ghislaine Maxwell also turned down the government's request here. So, barring any reversal on appeal, the judge's decision forecloses the possibility of grand jury testimony.
So this is the federal judge right here brings up, just for everyone's knowledge and context here,
being released now that three judges have reached the same conclusion. A federal judge in Florida declined to release grand jury documents from an investigation there in 2005 and 2007. Now, Nima, the Associated Press characterizes these rulings as a...
Real quick, we got Mythical Rider up in here as well. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning.
Collective repudiation of the DOJ's effort to divert attention away from its stated refusal to release a massive trove of records in its possession and make clear that the still sealed court documents contain none of the answers likely to satisfy the immense public interest. So, Nima, I think the headline here is 3 federal judges, 2 jurisdictions, and another jurisdiction.
3 federal judges have declined and rejected the request so far.
Have denied the DOJ's request to release grand jury testimony and transcripts here. Are you surprised by this? Or, because you and I have...
Nope, not at all. Definitely, I mean, it's kind of funny, and I talked about this before, but regarding, Trump originally going, to the DOJ, just, get the transcripts. He knew as soon as he was saying that, he instantaneously knew that the judges were they were gonna reject it. He knew that though.
That it's extremely rare. It's extremely unorthodox for a federal judge to grant a request like this, even if it is coming by the Department of Justice of all entities here. Were you surprised by it or no?
Andrew, I'm not surprised. Then each of the judges in Florida and New York, they got it right. Under the rules of criminal procedure, and we're talking about Rule 6, grand jury transcripts are secret. They're sealed. They're not to be unsealed just because there's a lot of public interest in the case. There's very few...
Yo, we got Evie Daly up in the building as well on the Facebook side. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
legal reasons why they can be unsealed. And even the judge said in this case, really unsealing the transcripts in the most recent case really wouldn't add a whole lot. It's just a fraction of the evidence in this case. It's mostly law enforcement witnesses. So for folks that don't know, grand juries really serve two functions. One is to investigate, and an investigative grand jury may have subpoena documents that would be in DOJ files already. And they hear testimony. Oftentimes, because the rules of evidence don't apply, if you're a prosecutor, you don't necessarily put victims before the grand jury. You have your law enforcement witnesses summarize some of that testimony. That protects the witness and doesn't create impeachment evidence that could potentially be used against them at trial. So when you have these summary witnesses before the grand jury, they're not necessarily going to add a lot. For people that want the Epstein files, it's really those FBI memoranda, those 302s, those 402s. That's it.
I agree with what he's saying.
Pam Bondi and Cash Patel's possession. They could release
the grand jury transcripts. It's just, I don't think that we would end up actually finding too much from the transcripts, to be honest. But maybe I'm wrong, but I'm giving you my guess.
All that. So what they're talking about is a small fraction. There's no legal basis to unseal it. And it probably wouldn't add a whole lot to what we already know and wasn't made public in both the civil and criminal cases.
Yeah, Nima, just lastly, part of the judge's reasoning in this, he said a significant and compelling reason to reject the government's request was that the information contained in the very transcripts, quote, pales in comparison to the Epstein investigative information and materials in the hands of the DOJ. He wrote that the government's 100,000 pages
Brother Carney up in the building as well. Good morning, kind sir.
Epstein files and materials dwarf the 70-odd pages of Epstein grand jury materials here. So he's almost daring the DOJ to release what they have, saying the grand jury transcripts, the testimony there, that's nothing compared to what you guys have on Epstein. Just release it. I mean, we are told, we did report earlier this week, a lot of that is coming possibly on Friday before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee.
Correct. And that's something that I told you guys I would be, I guess this was actually yesterday that we reported on this. He said earlier this week, but it was just yesterday. That it's going to be, we're going to have more answers on Friday. I told you guys yesterday that anything in between then, it's going to be a little bit of speculation, aside from the third judge basically rejecting this request. So you guys understand the get down here. That's what I usually go for, is to try to figure out the actual facts of what's happening and nothing in between. And then, anyways, let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little PSA.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. Good to see everyone, man. Thank you guys for all hanging out with us this morning. I always very much appreciate it. We got Mount High up in the building as well. Great to see you, my man. We got our left-handed tobacco right here rolled up. We're ready to get at it. Trust me. We got Hugh Jordan as well. I know exactly who this is. Great to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. We got Chatting with Stacks as well. Great to see you, kind sir. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. Good morning, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. Air Canada strike ends. We have the airline reaches tentative flight attendant agreement.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. All right, our next story takes us to our neighbors in the north there in Canada. Live picture there. Take a look at this over Edmonton in Alberta. Let's talk about the Air Canada flight attendant strike here. Air Canada saying it will gradually restart operations after reaching an agreement early yesterday with the union for 10,000 flight attendants to end a strike that disrupted the travel plans of hundreds of thousands of Canadian passengers here. Now, the agreement came after Canada's biggest airline and the union resumed talks late Monday for the first time since the strike began over the weekend, affecting about 130,000.
I'm sure they do have an Air Force, but I don't think that's what they're talking about.
Travelers a day at the peak of the summer travel season. Air Canada said flights will start resuming at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That was yesterday. So flight attendants, they walked off the job early Saturday after turning down
Thank you for that, by the way. Real quick, let's get the likes up, everybody. Let's hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. I really appreciate your guys' laborious work on hitting that like button. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that shit. And it's free.
Airlines' request to enter into government-directed arbitration. That would have allowed a third-party mediator to decide. the terms of a deal here. So I want to put this up from Air Canada, saying today's operations resumption summary. We returned 234 Air Canada Rouge aircraft to the skies, saying they flew almost 80% of our full network schedule and operated almost 900 flights system-wide here. So let's bring into the conversation right now John Braddock, a faculty lecturer there at McGill University. He knows all about this. He joins me. John, good to see you, and happy Wednesday. So did you anticipate that this would be wrapped up by, what, last night?
I really don't need to hear this guy's breakdown of this, but we'll hear a little bit. I do see some other images I haven't seen yet.
And inspected, and then turned back into service and put back in the air. They have, Air Canada's schedule is quite extensive, over 160 destinations. Everything from Australia to China to Peru to India. And what you have to make sure that when you fly these airplanes to those locations, you have the crews available to bring the airplane back.
Well, no fucking kidding. All right, dude. I don't need to hear any more of your weird analysis there. But we understand that Canada Air is back in business, all right? So that's the fact there. We're going to be moving on into FBI arrest 10 most wanted fugitive, mother of missing Texas boy. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's go ahead and present this to you guys right here, right now.
All right, let's continue hitting some more top headlines. This one coming out of Texas. Cindy Rodriguez Singh, who's on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives list, has been arrested. She's accused of killing her 6-year-old special needs son, Noel Rodriguez Alvarez. Again, all of this taking place in the Dallas area. Fox 4 Dallas reporter Amelia Jones joining us tonight with the latest. Amelia, what are you learning?
Hi there, Austin. Well, October marks 3 years since Noel Rodriguez Alvarez was last seen alive. The Everman police chief told me today that the arrest brings relief as it's a major milestone that allows the case to finally move forward. About a month after Cindy Rodriguez Singh was put on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list, federal authorities announced her arrest on Wednesday.
She fled the United States of...
Damn, and she left to go to, Mexico, guaranteed, if she's down there in Texas. She went down to Mexico.
Most wanted list. Federal authorities announced her arrest on Wednesday.
She fled the United States of America years ago and was not seen by anyone for 2.5 years.
The FBI director announced that Singh was recently arrested in...
Yep, when you go down there in Mexico, you can kind of blend in.
India.
You know what I mean?
She's accused of killing her 6-year-old son, Noel Rodriguez Alvarez, then fleeing the country with her husband and her other children. Everman Police Chief Al Brooks said they weren't expecting the arrest announcement, but welcomed the news after more than 2 years of trying to track her down.
She is the top most wanted torta. That's true, bro.
Relief in that we got her, but it's not a sense of closure at this point. It just marks the next step into the next phase of the investigation.
Chief Brooks was the assistant police chief when the investigation started. This case captured international attention when the special needs toddler was first reported missing in 2023. It was soon discovered that the 6-year-old...
That's terrible. Jesus Christ.
...hadn't been seen alive since October 2022. Everman police said Rodriguez Singh lied to investigators, claiming the boy was living in Mexico with his biological father. Days later, Singh, her husband, and the boy's 6 siblings were seen on surveillance footage boarding a flight to India.
We're invested in this. We're going to do everything we can to seek justice for Noel.
Investigators brought in cadaver dogs and searched the property where the family lived. They even dug up a newly poured concrete slab near the shed where the family was staying, but the boy's body has never been found.
I imagine you have a lot of questions for Cindy. I imagine you all are looking to figure out what exactly happened to Noel. His body still has not been found.
Correct. Hopefully that's some answers that we'll get in the next phase of the investigation.
Rodriguez Singh faces charges of capital murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Once she's back in Texas, Chief Brooks says Everman investigators will work to get some long-awaited answers.
There's a lot of relieved people to get to this point. Long way to go.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, some mothers, when they have something like this, unfortunately, they're like, this is a straight liability. This is going to ruin my life. I have to attend to this thing non-fucking stop. And they literally go and make a decision that's so radical, all off of the appeasement of what is easier for them in life. And then, of course, some women will have a child like this and then not love it. For real. Obviously, she did not. Terrible, terrible situation, obviously, man. I hate shit like that, dude. That's one of the worst parts about my job is talking about shit like that. And I hate it every time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and move into Israel-approved settlement that could divide the West Bank. Let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys so we can present this. All right, here we go. By the way, real quick, before we start it up, we got TVT up in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far, your Thirsty Thursday. Definitely know we are over here. We got Carney's Ride participating. That's right, Puff Puff Pass. That's right, homie. That's right. Man, my man knows.
All right, welcome back in Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall, a live look at the White House, where it's about 10:43 in the nation's capital. We've also been monitoring our live vantage point of Gaza. Looks like it's either foggy, cloudy, something of the likes out there. It's tough to see. Normally we have visibility at this hour, but we don't tonight. I gotta say, I've been watching this camera off the air for much of the evening here in United States time. I've been seeing a lot of blasts on this camera behind the scenes. If we do see anything live, we'll try our best to take it in real time.
Steve Posey. Good morning.
As I mentioned before the commercial break, though, it's been a busy week as it relates to the Middle East. Israel today giving final approval for a controversial settlement project in the occupied West Bank that would effectively cut the territory in two, and the Palestinians and rights groups say could destroy hopes for a future Palestinian state. The Associated Press saying this all centers around an open tract of land east of Jerusalem, which has been under consideration for more than 2 decades, but was frozen due to U.S. pressure during previous administrations. Israel's far-right finance minister cast the approval as a rebuke to Western countries who recently announced plans to recognize a Palestinian state, countries like France and the United Kingdom. Dr. Alon Burstein is here to discuss the complicated West Bank with me. Goal of this
guy. All right, I gotta admit, this guy's really good at the facts. Okay, he is, and we're not gonna play the whole thing just so you guys know, because it's a little lengthy here. Obviously, I see the timestamps on this thing, but I will tell you that we've had this guy on the show many times. If you guys watch the Insane Wheels page, you guys have seen this guy speak about the Middle East and specifically Israel and the West Bank over there, as well as Gaza. So nonetheless, he does a really, really good job of laying out the facts, but the way he speaks can kind of ruin it for some people, ruin the legitimacy, right? But he actually is very good at what he does. I gotta give him credit where credit's due. But anyways, just a little heads up there.
I don't need to tell anybody who's seen Alone and I segments, but the goal here is to take a very complex topic and spend a little bit of time on it. Hopefully be educational, and hopefully you come away from this conversation knowing something that you didn't before the night. Let's start as basic as we can, Alone.
What's up, Two-Wheel Jesus? Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
Focusing on the West Bank tonight. Who lives in the West Bank right now? What is the demographic makeup of that area?
It's good to see you, Austin. And yeah, what we're talking about now is the West Bank, usually focused on the Gaza Strip. And really, when people talk about the Palestinian territories or the occupied Palestinian territories or what might be a future state of Palestine, they're really talking about those two regions. They're talking about the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
I'm glad that he is sitting in front of that for the first time. Usually he doesn't really refer to it. But yes, that's correct. Palestinians are not only in Gaza. Some people think, oh, they're only in Gaza. No, there's something called the West Bank as well. Okay. It's within Israel. It's away from Gaza, as you guys can see right there. So anyways, it's the eastern part, northern eastern part of Israel right there. Anyways, back to this.
And the reason I'll just say that we focus on those areas and not areas like the Golan Heights is because when those areas were taken over in 1967, they were left under Israeli occupation. The Golan Heights was annexed by Israel, and those areas were left under Israeli occupation. And so when it comes to thinking, what are the borders of Israel? Israel never annexed those areas or made them part of its country, except for East Jerusalem.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm sorry, because it actually goes higher than this. Yeah, so, but nonetheless, you guys see that where it is in comparison of Gaza, okay? So it's not actually all the way northern. Northern's like all the way up here, but you know what I'm saying. You guys get the gist.
Which is something that we'll talk about soon. When it comes to the West Bank, there is a population, give or take, of about 3.5 million people within the West Bank, of which, give or take, 85%, almost 3 million people, are Palestinians. They are Palestinians. They are essentially stateless. There's no recognized state of Palestine. They're not Israeli citizens. For a brief period, they were Jordanian citizens, but they are not at this point. And at this point, they are subjects to some extent of the Palestinian Authority or under direct Israeli occupation. The rest, give or take 500,000, are Israelis. Some of these live in settlements throughout the West Bank, and some of them live in East Jerusalem. East Jerusalem is one of the more complex areas because it has been annexed by Israel. So Israel does not consider that part of the West Bank. Israel considers them, fully part of the state of Israel. But according to international law, and according to what at least is going to be debated probably at some point in the International Court of Justice and things like that, is what's the West Bank as it was captured in 1967, which includes East Jerusalem. So the demographic makeup, about 3.5 million people, roughly 3 million Palestinians, roughly 500,000 Israelis.
I'm going to ask you a purposefully loaded question, and maybe you can use
I'm surprised there's even that many Israelis in the West Bank, to be quite honest.
Behind you to help us understand. Who owns the land in the West Bank? You just talked about one portion of it, but how would you answer that question as a whole?
So the question of land ownership, right, could be a legal one, a moral one, a historic one in this
Right. But in our context, what we care about is a legal one. What is the legal one? And fuck your morals and all this shit. Let's get real in current time right now, bro. You know what I mean?
Region, a lot of people say a religious one. Who should own the land? On the ground, the facts on the ground are that in 1967, as a result of a war that lasted 6 days called different things in different parts of the world, this entire area was taken over by Israel from Jordan. From that point, Israel was the de facto rule on the ground. However,
real quick, we got Brother Beezer up in the building. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thirsty Thursday morning, man. Great to see you.
Between 1967 and 1993, the area was left entirely under direct Israeli military occupation. That means that it's not the Israeli law that pertains to that territory. It's martial law that has a different set of regulations. Israeli citizens in that territory are subject to Israeli law, and Palestinians are subject to martial law. It's one of the more controversial aspects. Then in 1993 to 2000, we had an attempted peace process, I'll say, between Israel and the leadership of the Palestinians, the Palestine Liberation Organization, and that territory became divided. So right now it is divided into 3 different parts. The main Palestinian cities, and you can see here some examples: Tulkarem, Nablus, Ramallah, Jericho, Bethlehem, Hebron. Those areas are under control of the Palestinian Authority, a quasi-state situation. But that's about 20% of the West Bank. Then another 20% of the West Bank is a mixed control. It is direct Israeli military control, and the Palestinian Authority also. It's divided based on security or civil things. Extremely complicated. In my course on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we spend 2 weeks just on those areas.
Damn.
Then 60% of the West Bank remains what is known as Area C, that is complete IDF control of the Israeli military. The majority of the West Bank is still under direct Israeli occupation and martial law. So throughout the West Bank, we have 3 different zones of control. Some of them are direct Israeli military, some of them are Palestinian Authority, some of them are mixed. But overarchingly, who controls the airspace? Who controls the border crossings? That is all the Israeli military. And really what we're talking about is the settlement project, that is where the Israelis live in the West Bank, that is spread throughout the West Bank amidst the Palestinians. That's where a lot of the complexity comes in.
So I'm going to read a little bit of a quote from Israel's far-right finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich. He's a former settler leader, I must add. He said, the Palestinian state is being erased from the table, not with slogans, but with actions, he says. Every settlement, every neighborhood, every housing unit is another nail in the coffin of this dangerous idea. So alone, does this move completely negate the possibility of a Palestinian state in the West Bank? Would Jewish people likely need to move out of the West Bank if that were to happen?
So I'll take us back just for a brief moment to history to look at the settlement project, and then from there take to.
The answer would be yes, of course. They would leave. Of course, the Israelis, for sure.
How Smotrich sees it, at least these days. After 1967, when Israel took over these territories, and I'll say also the Sinai Peninsula and a lot of other areas, even though the area was not annexed to Israel, Israel started to build Jewish settlements in those areas. Those were areas that were taken over at first by the Israeli military, and then Israelis, but exclusively Jews, were allowed to settle in those areas, and that is the settlement project. Now, as far as Israel was concerned, Israel has said that that was for security purposes, to bring its population into the area so that the military has an easier access to those areas. And that is how Israel has justified that historically over time, because according to the Fourth Geneva Convention, it's illegal to build settlements in an occupied territory, but Israel has said it's not for settlement, it's for security purposes. However, a large segment of what's known as the religious Zionist population, and also increasingly the Israeli population by and large, has viewed the settlements also as part of an organic security development and a way to expand the borders and ensure that there is no creation of a Palestinian state in those areas of the West Bank. And it used to be also in the Gaza Strip. Israel evacuated settlements in the Gaza Strip in 2005, but now there's talk, we've talked about that in the past.
That's very true as well. Absolutely, Will's friend. That's why a lot of people don't end up doing the whole medical thing. Yes, you're correct about that.
negotiating those settlements. So really, the settlements can be viewed in two different ways from the Israeli perspective. The official stance is that they are a security necessity, and that is why, even though it violates international law, Israel says, but it's still permissible because of security necessity. But as far as people like Bezalel Smotrich, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and again, a growing population also of the Likud supporters, they see settlements as part of a mission to ensure that the entire territory remains Israeli, and therefore has no Palestinian state, no Palestinian entity. In theory, if there was a division of a two-state solution between a Jewish state, i.e. Israel, and a Palestinian state, i.e. the state of Palestine, the settlements would have to be evacuated. Now, there's some controversy about that because, in theory, Israel has an Arab-Palestinian population that is a minority that are citizens, so why couldn't Jews remain as citizens within the future state of Palestine? And that was actually negotiated as part of the peace process back in the 90s. There was a question that was negotiated. It's been argued by the Palestinian side that Jews and Israelis would be able to stay there, but only after they evacuated. They would have to evacuate so that the state of Palestine could be born, and then they could come back and get citizenship.
Yeah, come back as total visitors. We got to exit you out, and then you can come back in on our shit. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's true. Anyways, we're not going to stick, and listen to continuance of just this further breakdown, but I do see something Netanyahu is being brought up in this stream, so let's go ahead and bring it to that and see what's happening.
The Israeli government right now is in a dire situation. The ultra-Orthodox parties have left the government.
Okay, so he's not actually speaking. He was just pulling up that image. All right, so let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal for the morning. We got next up, Menendez brothers are set to make their case in a parole hearing. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys so you guys know what the heck I'm talking about here. And let's go ahead and start it up.
7:21 is the time. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Right now, we're doing a transition to other top stories. Thursday, the Associated Press reporting that Lyle and Eric Menendez are scheduled to face separate parole hearings beginning today in California. And depending on the outcomes, it could eventually be released from prison nearly 30 years after being convicted of killing their parents. A panel of parole officers will evaluate each of the brothers via video conference. They'll appear from prison in San Diego.
By the way, that's right, Wolf's friend. That's right, legally. We got Lauren up in the building as well. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning, by the way.
Next, we want to bring into the conversation legal analyst and trial attorney Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, good morning. A pleasure to have you.
Good morning, Gina.
So if you could first share some background on this case for the viewers that aren't familiar with how we got to this point today.
Right. If you're not from the 1980s or the 1990s, then
honestly, Steve, at this point, I'm not surprised by any of it anymore. You know, it used to mean something for real, but now they just let out anybody now. So, I mean, part of the big system that I've been talking about is also needing to focus on these corrupt judges and corrupt DAs that are letting out and just allowing bullshit to fucking happen. It's actually absurd. You know what I mean? But at this point, honestly, bro, I wouldn't be surprised by any of it. That's just the point I've gotten to.
Lyle and Eric Menendez are two brothers. They were brought up in a very, very wealthy, well-to-do household in Southern California in Los Angeles. They murdered their parents via shotgun very brutally back in the mid-90s. They had two trials. One trial was a hung jury. The next trial convicted them. They were sentenced to life in prison without parole. And over obviously the last few decades, with the help of a Netflix series, with the help of support from family, there's been a new push for some leniency here. They had claimed that they were victims of sexual abuse by their father Jose. And
you be good out there, brother TVT. We'll see you on the flip side.
At the time of the initial trial, I don't know that it was taken very seriously. Obviously, as time has gone on, we understand a lot more that happens to victims of this type of abuse. And there's been more allegations against his father Jose by one of the singers from a boy band called Menudo that really lended a lot more credibility to the story to show that these boys were suffering trauma, led to a push for resentencing. That resentencing happened earlier this year and triggered parole eligibility. So that's where we stand today, is now they have their first parole hearing.
Shit.
Jeremy, thank you so much for that background. The latest from our partners over at TMZ, they put this out on X saying, quote, the Menendez brothers family is optimistic about their parole hearings this week, but they're not counting Eric and Lyle before their release. I break it down. What is the importance of a parole hearing, especially if you've been in jail or prison, as I should say, for nearly 30 years already?
Well, obviously, you want to get out of prison. It's important to understand that there are some really big
differences. Are you serious, Wolf's friend? Are you serious? That's insane. Wow.
Differences between a trial or a court proceeding and parole. Parole is administrative by nature. It's not a judge. It's not lawyers. It's people who are appointed to be on that board, and it's more of a conversation, if you will, than a court hearing. There is testimony. They'll talk to Lyle and Eric Menendez. They're going to have separate hearings. They'll have a discussion from victims' families. In this instance, the vast majority of who are in really big support of Eric and Lyle. They'll listen to other reports about their conduct in jail, some of the things that they've done to rehabilitate themselves, and different factors such as that.
Well, we know what a parole going up, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and see what other bullshit that they cover here.
His release. We've seen it go both ways when it comes to these type of parole hearings. Express what that means to the panel, to the people that will be there, the emotion aspect of what that represents.
So this was the actual conviction back then in 1995.
Also would like to discuss what we could see as far as either side with the result of this for those that have never seen a parole hearing before.
This is going to be a pretty big outlier as far as parole hearings go. Most parole hearings are fairly mundane. There's not a lot to it, and the state of California may not really object very much or very hard to it. In this instance, the attorney for the district attorney's office for Los Angeles County will be represented there. We don't know that it'll be the elected district attorney, but they're expected to oppose the release in each instance. And when you have so many victims in a case like this, and so many family members of victims, it'll be interesting to see. They'll really lay a lot of context out.
Well, obviously, as the parole hearing, we get information on that whole ordeal. We'll be reporting the facts on the whole thing and what the end decision is there. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on into now a video. I guess there was a woman tries to kick Southwest employee and then punches computer monitors. I'm not really sure. It's a quick story, but we're going to bring it up and figure out what the hell is going on here, dude. The world's going mad, dude.
7:43 is the time. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story takes us out to the Sunshine State of Florida. As caught on camera, the latest airport meltdown that's gone viral. A woman at Orlando International harassing an employee and smashing a computer screen. Police say the damage totaled over $1,000. We want to check in this morning with Fox 35 Orlando's Marley Capper. She joins us live from the airport with the latest on this viral video. Hard to put into words, Marley, but I know you'll do a great job. Good morning to you.
Janae, good morning to you.
I know it's hard to put it in words. Oh my God, dude.
Emotional damage. This all happened the other night at a Southwest gate. Now, we're told the passengers say they couldn't believe their eyes as this was unfolding. Police tell us that this woman was upset. I believe she was standby trying to get on a flight here. And when she couldn't, she started banging on computers, and she just really...
Flying and getting arrested usually brings out the best in people. Yeah.
He kind of rallied up people, and it was scary for some. She was blocking a door to a jet bridge, and then when police asked her to leave, basically, she got really upset. Take a look at that video.
This viral video shows Selamit Velez Rodriguez kicking a Southwest gate agent, then...
Dude, typical fucking just idiot broad. She probably... Look at the way she's dressed. This is...
Video shows Selamit Velez Rodriguez kicking a Southwest gate agent, then slamming her fist into computer screens.
She's definitely off her rocker, bro.
Ooh, that's assault.
Ooh, that's assault. Shit.
People have gotten real crazy. That's wild. I mean, you walk into places, they're just doing their jobs. Can't take it out on everybody.
Police say Velez Rodriguez was escorted out as other passengers clapped and cheered.
Certain activities being brought out.
Velez Rodriguez has since returned to Illinois, but she's facing some charges of battery, criminal mischief, and resisting an officer without violence. So again, we're waiting to hear how things pan out as far as her charges, but passengers were really shocked to see what had happened. Janae?
Shit, real quick, because that's the end of that whole ordeal. We got a little PSA real quick. Besides hitting that like button, it helps out the show immensely, by the way, so I really appreciate that. But real quick.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking...
Shit. All right. let's go ahead and move on into the next story here, and final one of the last ones. Let me see if we're completely caught up in the news. And yes, this will be the latest. This came out 1 hour ago, and this is regarding the Hurricane Aaron that we've been monitoring. So let's go ahead and tap in and see what the heck is going on here. A little update for everybody on the East Coast.
We are continuing to track Hurricane Aaron, as you can see here from our live XRAD weather system. It is still churning out there in the Atlantic, bringing some severe impacts to coastal cities across the eastern side of the U.S. We're going to be joined right now live down in Ocean City, Maryland, by Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell. She has a report. Brandy, I'm seeing everything behind you. The waves are big. The wind is strong.
Yeah, good morning to you at this point. Look, we've been tracking Hurricane Aaron since it first formed. We had a reporter down in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and now here we are along the East Coast with teams in several cities. I'm here in Ocean City, Maryland. This is a location where we are getting some, wind.
Look at that shit. That current is insane.
Gus, we're also dealing with some dangerous beach conditions, but also keeping an eye.
Current and wind, of course.
On some of the coastal flooding that can happen, especially during the high tide. So we're coming out of the morning high tide. That was around 7 a.m., but we have another that's around 7 p.m. But let's take a look at what we're seeing live. So we have the beach right there. You can see just how rough it is. There's some pretty large waves out there. At my last check, we had some wave heights around 10 feet, but at the peak of the ocean activity today, we could get wave heights on the
Yep, and this riptide's going to be happening all the way from down there in Florida, all the way up through all the East Coast, man. I mean, you got to be careful out there. If you guys are out on the East Coast, just avoid being in the water for right now. You know what I mean? And Beezer, he's typical fucking Florida man. You know what I mean? Typical Florida man response here. Oh, there's another hurricane. Who knew? Yeah, we get you, big dog. We know that, But listen, bro. We actually give a shit about your lives out there. You may not give a shit about the life out there, but I do. You know what I mean? Motherfucker. We got Brother Glare, by the way, coming in with the membership for 10 months, saying Eddie would go. Shit. Glare, I really appreciate you being a member for 10 months, man. Help out the channel a lot. Not only with your fantastic takes, but also with your membership, man. I really appreciate that. We got Brother Hardwire up in the beauty. Shout out to my man hanging out with us, my man. Good morning, good morning. All right, let's get into this.
Around 13 feet. So far we haven't seen anybody trying to set up on the beach to watch, setting up any chairs. We haven't seen any surfers, which I'm not surprised, seeing just how rough it is out there. On top of that, we have, as I mentioned, the wind gusts. So far, we've had some gusts in the 30s. I have my anemometer just to see what the wind speeds are right now. And it's blowing, close to 20 miles per hour. I'd say it's been consistent wind speeds.
I wonder what it's gusting. I mean, I'm sure it's 20 on standard right there at that spot, but what it's gusting right there too? Oh shit! I bet you it's getting some fucked up wind speeds out
in the upper teens and even into the 20s. Now, I also talked about the flooding. We are under a coastal flood warning right now. And again, the peak times where we can see some really impactful flooding is around...
Hansen, great to see you, by the way. Good morning, good morning.
High tide. So around 7 o'clock tonight, we are going to be live here in Fox Weather. We know this is an island that's no stranger to flooding, so we could expect to see that on some of the roads, especially here in downtown. And we already saw that early this morning. So I want to give you a look, though, as we are not the only people out here just taking a look at the conditions, but there's, quite a crowd. Everybody's just hanging out here in the parking lot here near the pier where they also
because they're watching it. They're like, holy fuck, dude, that looks crazy.
Amusement rides. I want to talk to a couple of folks. Good morning.
What's up, Stephanie? Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Great to see you. Alabama man is scared of a little hurricane. Yeah, no, come on, man. Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Motherfucker trying to clown on me. Shit. All right, back to this.
You are among, a small crowd that I assume is fascinated by what we're seeing, right?
Yes. We're from actually Warminster, Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania.
So this is our vacation.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to vacation. What are you thinking about what you're seeing? I know you can't go, lay out on the beach today,
my
but...
sister and my brother-in-law.
That woman is rough looking. I just got to point it out, bro. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be crude or rude or any of that shit, but she rough.
They've been through it, but this is new to me. Because
Yeah.
I don't even go to the Jersey Shore, so this is like new.
Yeah. Thoughts on, when you first came out here and just saw the large waves and how windy it was?
I remember seeing that Steve posing.
Because I've never been in this situation before, so.
Right. Okay. All right. So would you say this is okay for a vacation? Is it more of you got a wow factor instead of a sunny beach day? Are you good with that?
Yeah, we got it in the beginning. We had a good warning. So a couple of days.
Okay. What's your name, by the way?
Jess.
Jess. All right. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. Guys, we're live with Fox. Good morning. I just want to get your take. You're joining the crowd out here, just looking at the weather conditions from Hurricane Aaron. What are you guys thinking about what you're seeing?
It's pretty intense, actually. We're from up by Blue Mountain area, outside Allentown, and I came down. We're like, yeah, better to go.
Why is everyone coming down for the hurricane? Like, and they all look the same. Like, cracked out motherfuckers from up north kind of look. You know what I mean? That's the look that I feel. And none of them are like, yeah, I live here, blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, we came down here. We're down here on vacation. The fuck you doing here on vacation, bro?
Down here and check out the hurricane, but yeah, it's amazing. I think I saw the Gordon's fisherman guy go by in his little yellow raincoat out in his boat.
Oh, you saw a boat go out?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to say we missed that. I hope no one goes out today.
Really
Listen,
nice.
we have a pretty good time in our tornado parties, by the way. We have a pretty good time. I got to admit.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So you said around 7 o'clock it's going to...
7 p.m. tonight, that's when we have the second high tide. So be careful if you guys are going to be out on the roads. That's something the city wants people to pay attention to, because some roads could become impassable. But for the meantime, things have gone down. So what's your names?
I'm Bob, and this is Royal.
No, I do not have a blade leg. I do. What specific you're talking about, the blades to run specifically? No, I don't. Unfortunately, insurance does not cover shit like that. If you want something like that, you have to pay out of pocket, and it's way out of pocket money. And I'm not much of a runner, you know what I mean? I don't run for shit. I'm gonna be quite honest. And that's been before my accident and up to now, obviously.
We got here yesterday, so we'll be sunny by the weekend. All good.
Yeah,
I'm cool with not running.
You guys can get a sunny beach day in. Thank you guys. Y'all too. All right. So, and again, we can end it over here, Corral, on the shore.
Real quick, we got brother GEG over there on the West Coast. My man, great to see you. Aren't you glad that you're on the West Coast while all this shit's fucking going down? Like, got total hurricane chaos over there on the East Coast.
Or I think we've had our first taker over here, folks actually walking further out onto the shore. That's the first person I've seen try to walk out, but there's a little bit of a walkway right there, so they're not on the sand.
Why
but
are they even
just
out
really
there,
taking
bro?
in this view. We're gonna have to walk down there a
Bro,
little closer.
take your kid home, bro. Take your kid home. Come on. You're in the middle of a fucking hurricane, bro. Why you gotta do that? Just go home. Jesus.
Closer too, because the waves that we can see from this vantage point, yes, they are amazing.
Real quick, we got Brother Slim as well, my man. Great to see you. We got Dragon Classy as well as Path Killer. Great to see you guys, man. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your morning so far. Thank you guys for being here. And make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. I really appreciate that and your laborious work getting those likes up.
They look huge, but once you actually walk down closer to the shore, it's even more astonishing. So quite a morning here, but I think, you know, the takeaway from this, the good news is we're not having a landfall from Hurricane Aaron. It's staying offshore and now moving northeast, so further away from land, but still it's these coastal communities that are going to see the impacts in terms of wind,
all the way up
flooding,
the East Coast.
Not really much any rain, so that's good news. But folks who are further inland, they might not really feel anything at all. Back to you.
Shit. Well, that's fucking terrible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I really appreciate every single one of you guys for making these very shows happen. I'm very grateful for all of your guys' contributions, help to the channel, hitting the like button, engaging in the chat, leaving comments at the end of the show, like at the very end, not during the live chat. It helps out with the algorithm and all that shit. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be sending you guys over to our buddy CT. I always love watching his channel, man. He's got very interesting people that join his panels, and it's just chaos the whole time. I mean, it's just awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for being members and staying members for you guys in the Breakfast Club. I'm really appreciative. Until tomorrow, we'll be back with more of the world's madness. As always, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, make sure you guys do a little side note. We got my Instagram right here at BallValveTV. Go ahead and follow that. Breaking news. I put all the behind the scenes of my life and the show and stuff like that. It's a great way to get a hold of me personally. We have the Discord link. Make sure you guys join up in that as well. Always appreciate you guys. Until tomorrow morning, much love, honor, respect to everybody, and God bless.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise